Hi, my name's JasonMorrell, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create a concurrent, dual, multi-level list like this. This was a real example given to me where the lady wanted English instructions on the left and corresponding Spanish instructions on the right, and the numbering had to stay in the same sequence. It's trickier than it first sounds. Now, if you haven't watched my previous videos on multi-level lists, or you'd like to get your hands on this finished template for yourself, please check out the notes beneath the video. Here we have a clean document with a 2-column table, English stuff on the left, Spanish stuff on the right, and everything is currently styled using the normal style. So there's no other styles applied to this text at this point. Now if I just place my cursor next to this English version level 1 and go to the multi-level list icon and choose this default that says all the numbering styles with headings attached to them, it's going to apply the heading 1 to this first bit of text. If I do the same thing for the Spanish version level 1, and now just click the heading at the top here, you see how, because they're both heading 1, between the two lists it's continued the numbering from one to the other. And obviously that Spanish version level 1 also has to be 1. If I take it a stage further and highlight these two English version level 2s and apply the heading 2 style up here, and do the same for the Spanish version, you can see it's continued 1.1 and 1.2 over on the left, but it's continued 2.1 and 2.2 on the right. Whereas all of these should be 1, 1.1, 1.2, so they stay in sync with the English version. So you can see it's not as simple as applying the same heading on both sides. It's a little bit trickier than that. So let me select all this text, convert it back to normal styling, and the approach I'm going to take here is we need 3 different styles here to cover levels 1 through to 3, and 3 separate styles over here to cover levels 1 through to 3. One approach, I guess the usual approach, would be to use headings 1 through to 3 on this side, and maybe headings 4 through to 6 on this side. But you set the numbering up exactly the same between heading 1 and heading 4, and heading 2 and heading 5, and heading 3 and heading 6. And that way, they're 2 separate entities on both sides, and they'll stay in sync nicely. The other approach you can take is just to create 6 completely independent styles that are independent to the standard heading 1 through to heading 9. And that way, if you want to use the standard heading somewhere else, you can do. Let me just show you that as an alternative to all the other videos I've done so far. Normally, I set up the multi-level list definition first, and then play around with the styling afterwards. For this one, I'm actually going to do it in the reverse order. First, I'm going to select the English version level 1, and then come to the little More button on the Style Gallery, and choose Create a Style. Now click Modify, and the reason I click Modify is just to make sure that it's going to be based on normal. If you've got an existing style in there and you choose Create a Style, it'll base it on whatever was there before. And it's good practice to make sure that every new style you create is based on normal. And that way it's always building from the same baseline. So in the name, I'm going to call this English 1. And because it's a major heading, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Let's say a size 16 and bold. Automatic's fine, that just means black text. Now if you want to play around with the spacing and all that sort of stuff as well, you can go to the Format tab, choose your paragraph or your font settings here, and make further adjustments. That's good enough for me. Let's click OK there. Then I come to the 2 English version level 2s. Select the text, click the More button on the Style Gallery, create a style. Let's just call this one English 2. And click Modify. And then for this one, I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller than the previous one. So let's maybe make it a size 14, and that can also be bold. And let's just make that blue. Just checking it's based on normal, which it is. Click OK. Then let's pick the English version level 3s. And again, click the More button on the Style Gallery and create a style. Let's click Modify here. Call this one English 3. And make it a little bit smaller, size 12. And make this one maybe orange. And OK. And very quickly, we'll do the same on the other side. So Spanish version level 1, More button on the Style Gallery, create a style, modify, call this one Spanish 1. That's going to be a bold, size 16, and black is fine. Then we select the 2 level 2s for the Spanish side, click the More button again on the Style Gallery, create a style, modify, call it Spanish 2, Spanish level 2. And we're going to make this one a size 14, bold and blue. And click OK. And finally, the 2 level 3s for the Spanish side. Click the More button, create a style, modify, call it Spanish 3, and make it a size 12 and orange. And click OK. We've got 3 styles in play on each side: English 1, English 2 and English 3, Spanish 1, Spanish 2 and Spanish 3. So now I'm going to place my cursor at the top level, so English version level 1, come to the multi-level number icon and choose Define New Multi-Level List. Now for level 1, this corresponds currently to heading 1. When I click the More button, it expands the gallery, and I'm actually going to link that instead to English 1. And the first 3 levels, the 1, 1.1, 1.1.1, that's actually perfect. So let's go to level 2. Instead of linking to heading 2, we're going to link it to English 2. And for level 3, we're going to link that to English 3. Now for level 4, 5 and 6, we need to first of all reset the numbering. So let's wipe out what's in Enter Formatting for Number. The number style for this level is going to be 1, followed by a dot. But more importantly, come across to where it says heading 4 and link this to Spanish 1, top level Spanish. Then go to level 5. This needs to be linked to Spanish level 2. And in the Enter Formatting for Number box, I'm going to wipe out everything. Now this is actually going to be based on level 4 for its top level number, followed by a dot, followed by the 1, 2, 3 style system again. That's level 5 done. And then level 6, again, I'm going to link this to Spanish level 3, wipe out what's in the Enter Formatting for Number box, and in its place, we're going to first of all link it to the very top level, which is level 4, dot, then we link it to level 5, dot, and then we choose the number style for this level, 1, 2, 3. You can see from the preview that the first 3 levels are actually okay in terms of positioning and spacing, but because levels 4, 5 and 6 were previously based on heading 4, 5 and 6, it's got extra space between the number and the text. So just for consistency, I'm actually going to start at the top here, and I'm going to set the text indent at to maybe 2 centimeters on every single level, aligned at 0 and text indent at 2. Let's come down to level 2. The aligned at's fine. Let's make this 2 centimeters here. Level 3, again 0 centimeters is fine there. 2 centimeters is good there. And the same for levels 4, 5 and 6. That's good. 2 centimeters here. Level 5, 0 centimeters is good. 2 centimeters here. And finally level 6, 0 centimeters is good, and 2 centimeters there. And one last thing we've got to do is let's go to level 4 and check where it starts the numbering. So starting at 1 is fine in terms of the number, but it restarts after level 3. And we actually don't want to restart it after anything. This is a top level numbering for the Spanish side. Level 5 needs to pick up after level 4, which is fine, and level 6 needs to pick up after level 5, which is fine. So when we click OK, now as you can see, nothing's happened. Don't be alarmed by that. Sometimes, and it's very inconsistent, and this is a word bug as far as I know, if you have one style of numbering in place and then you switch it to another, it comes back often either in the old style or a blank style. Now don't worry too much. Place your cursor next to the first level 1, go back to the top and choose the multi-level list icon, and the styling you just created will still be in the Define New Multi-Level List. You can see all the settings have been retained, even though it didn't apply them. But now if you click OK, it applies them. Now, I don't know why Word makes you do that, but that is a fairly common occurrence if you're switching from one style or one set of numbering to another. Everything is now set up as we need. The numbering is in line on both sides, and it stays in sync whatever you do. So if we add another level 3 down here, and we do another level 3 on the other side, see how the numbers stay in sync. We can switch styles as well. So the style gallery contains, in fact it shows the first few, and then to get the rest you've either got to use the scroll bar button here, or this one here. But my favourite approach is to click the launcher which displays a side panel where everything's laid out nice and clear. And as you can see, there's your 3 English ones, there's your 3 Spanish ones. So on the left-hand side, I might say, let's switch this back to English level 2. And on the Spanish side, let's switch this back to Spanish number 2. So it doesn't matter what you do, the numbering will stay in sync. Even if you have paragraph text in between the headings, which is again is quite common, because it's not styled as any of these English styles or Spanish styles, it'll be set to a body text style of your choice. It doesn't interfere with anything, and the numbering will continue as it should. So I hope this video has been of value to you. Maybe it's given you some ideas. If you have any comments or questions, please post those beneath this video. I'll read them and I will respond to each one. But for this video, that's it for now. Thanks for watching and I'll see you for the next one.